Yo guys, what is going on? JPS back for another video, and today we're going to be watching Understanding European Soccer in 4 Simple Steps, a guide for Americans. And this is a step out of my comfort zone, guys, because I know very little about European soccer. I have some friends who pay attention to the Premier League. They have their favorite teams, whether it be Liverpool, Man City, Man United. I don't even know if Man City's a team. I think it is, but that's besides the point. Today we're going to be learning about European soccer, something I've been out of the mix. And wouldn't it be European football? But I guess they had to put soccer because it's for Americans, which I've been out of the mix for basically my entire life. So who knows? Maybe this is one small step, and I'll end up picking a team, and half of you guys will end up hating me. I don't know. But with that being said, guys, hit the like button, hit subscribe, and consider joining the Patreon. First link in description for full reactions to British shows and movies. You don't want to miss what we're watching over there. We're watching One Foot in the Grave. It's been hilarious. Just started season 3. So if you want to see that, make sure you watch that. But anyways, here we go. Or make sure you join that. I would really appreciate the support. Here we go.
Welcome to Understanding Soccer in Europe in 4 Simple Steps, a guide for Americans. Although from the outside it may seem complex and confusing, to understand how soccer works in Europe, you really only need to know 4 things. Number 1. Each country has its own soccer league. Seasons run from August to May, in which each team plays every other team twice, once at home and once on the road. Games are divided into 2 45-minute halves, and when the game is over, the winner is awarded 3 points, the loser 0, and in the event of a tie, each team gets 1 point. After each team has played all the other teams twice, the team with the most points is crowned champion of the league. They get a big trophy, a parade, and the season is over. There are no playoffs. Sort of. But more on that in a minute. Before the books are closed on the season, there is still one small bit of housekeeping to be done. Number 2, relegation. We'll use the German league as an example.
Oh, is relegate. So, like, would that be you get kicked out of the league if you don't perform well? I don't know. Let's see.
Every year, when the German league has concluded and the champion has been crowned, the 3 teams with the least amount of points are kicked out of the league. This process is known as relegation. The 3 vacant spots are subsequently filled by the top 3 teams from...
Yo, I completely guessed just based off the word relegate. I had no idea. Damn. So you got to stay in that league then.
Process is known as relegation. The 3 vacant spots are subsequently filled by the top 3 teams from Germany's 2nd division. And unlike, say, baseball in the US, teams in the 2nd and subsequent divisions are not owned by teams in the top division. Imagine if the Pittsburgh Pirates or Oakland Raiders had to fight at the end of each season just to stay in the league. What if instead of coasting to the bottom for better draft picks, they were fighting to the bitter end to avoid the $40 million revenue loss that relegated teams suffer in the first year alone? Not to mention the fact that in England, 9 different teams have gone financially insolvent within 5 years of relegation. Okay, interesting enough, you're thinking. But what about that whole lack of playoffs part? Number 3. Each country also holds an elimination-style tournament, referred to as a cup. But instead of being held after the 9-month league is over, cup games are scheduled in between league games, normally in the middle of the week. One additional perk about the cup system is that teams from all levels, down to semi-professional and even some amateur teams, are invited to play, and if they do well, can progress, and occasionally even knock off a top team. So every year, these midweek elimination games continue until there are only 2 teams left, who play each other in the cup final. After 90 minutes, a cup champion is crowned, they get a trophy, and a parade. So, between the league and cup games, we get a great picture of who the best and worst teams in each country are. But wait a second, you ask. What would happen if the best teams from each country in Europe all got together and played each other? Good idea. Number 4. The resulting competition is called the UEFA Champions League.
I've heard of this.
Without a doubt, the single greatest club competition of any sport anywhere in the world, period. Think of the NCAA tournament, but with better quality of play, more than double the fan base, and quadruple the enthusiasm. And yes, Europe even has their own version of the NIT as well. So, through a complex and drawn-out process, teams from all over Europe compete just to qualify for this tournament. And starting each September, the top 32 teams are put into 8 groups of 4. Each team plays the other members of its group 2 times, once at home and once on the road. Come December, the winner and runner-up from each group move on to the knockout round. And this is where club soccer is at its finest. Teams are paired up individually and again play 1 home and 1 away game, with the winner from each pair moving on.
Paris, Barca, Milan, Dortmund. See, I've heard of... Bro, I remember, like... I feel like I've seen you like a UEFA game before. This is really cool, though. And I can tell, I already know that European fans go crazy for, like, these games and stuff. there has to be a lot of drinking. There has to be a lot of there has to be a lot of everything. I think we need to watch a video about that, because I've seen the English football chants, but I feel like this encompasses more of Europe as a whole. There must be some crazy stuff.
On to the next round until only 2 teams remain. The Champions League final is then held as a single game each year in May. And unless it's the World Cup year, this is the most important soccer game of the year. After 90 minutes, a champion is crowned, the trophy is awarded, parades commence, and all clubs go on break until the madness fires back up again in August. So, to review, number 1, each country has its own league. Number 2, the worst teams are kicked out of the league and replaced by the best teams from the next division down. Number 3, throughout the year, each country also holds a playoff-type tournament called a cup. And number 4, the UEFA Champions League is a tournament involving all of Europe and is the most important competition in all of club soccer.
Damn, I actually feel like I could talk about soccer, like European football now. Or just football in general, that's what I'll call it. But the relegation thing, I think this is a really interesting concept that needs to be implemented in like some American sports, particularly American football and the NFL. It was mentioned in this video about how teams will often, if they're doing poorly in the season, in the season, they'll coast and start losing games on purpose and things. Which there's no proof that anyone actually does that, but it becomes pretty obvious when they start resting their starters and things. There's no push to keep playing because you want to get the top draft pick, because the worst team gets the first pick. So this is different though, getting booted down, and then it also incentivizes the other divisions to because you have something to work towards, maybe getting into this bottom 3. I really like this. That concept there, and there just seems to be a lot of different things though. You got their own league within, and then they got their own cup, and then you got UEFA, and you got tons of other. I mean, there's a lot of football, so I'm sure that the fans are very entertained. But I think there's still some more of this for us to look at. So if you guys have specific things you want me to check out, or something was missing in this video, let me know in the comments down below. Hit the like button, hit subscribe, and I will catch you all in the next one. Peace.